The next elite stop, Lake Guntersville in Alabama. Man, what a fishery. You know, we all knew it was a great lake going into that event, but when we got there, conditions were right for a slugfest tournament. And really what we had is we had a mix of post-spawn fish. We had fish that were coming out from the spawning coves, and we had a lot of rain before we got there. We had like 2 weeks of rain. And what that meant was the dam operators at Lake Guntersville had the gates wide open. Lots of current. And whenever you have a mix of post-spawn bass and current, the fish are going to stack up. And it was pretty unbelievable. And what I keyed in on a tournament was I keyed in on places that were stopping places between the spawning pockets and the main river ledge. I knew the fish were heading to the main river ledge to spend the summer, but they weren't quite there yet. They were about halfway there. And I looked for little intersections. You know, what was really key for me were the points and corners halfway between the spawning coves and the main river channel. In particular, the fish were grouped up on little tiny hard spots. You know, when I say hard spots, what I'm really talking about are gravel beds, but more importantly, mussel beds. You know, and they've got mussels that are, some of them are 7, 8 inches big, and they cluster up in groups and they make little tiny mounds. On top of those mussels, you had a lot of times an isolated piece of cover. A lone stump, a lone rock, one branch, and that's where the fish would be grouped up. I've never seen fish grouped up like that. It was amazing. I think in 4 days of tournament fishing, I probably caught over 500 or 600 bass. A lot of times it was every cast. You know, the key bait, without a doubt, was a crankbait, Lake Guntersville. You know, my main bait ended up being a Laserlure, you know, the Laserlure deep diver. And I throw it in 2 color patterns. I throw it in the shad pattern, and I also threw it in the citrus chartreuse pattern. And it was real key to mix up colors. You'd get on a spot, you'd catch 10 or 15 or 20 fish in a row, and then they would quit biting. And then you'd pick up a different color, and you trigger that school. So it's important to throw different colors. I threw this crankbait on 12-pound green trilene fluorocarbon. I threw it on a Mike Iaconelli Team Daiwa Signature Series crankbait rod. And one of the keys was maintaining bottom contact. Long cast, get that bait running, let that bait really start hitting on those mussel beds. When that bait would hit, that deflection, plus on the Laserlure, we've got that red light in that bill. The deflection plus that red light really triggered an amazing bite. I gotta tell you, that was some of the most fun I've ever had in a tournament. To catch that many fish, to catch that kind of size, I ended up with 100 pounds, a little over 100 pounds of fish in 4 days, all in that Laserlure crankbait.